folks, this is Gear with another quick Minecraft tour. Ah, the Nether. Isn't it beautiful? Actually, I'm really excited about it. We've got some changes coming up in some of the next releases where we've got new mobs being introduced, and we'll see them when they become available. But what these mobs are doing is they're dropping things that otherwise have been hard to come by, or had limited resources to come by. For example, coal, which we use for making torches and cooking things and numerous other things, will be dropped off one of the mobs that will be spawning here. Also, glowstone dust, which is what glowstone itself is made out of, will be dropped off another mob. And there's another item as well. I forget what it is right now. Redstone dust as well. So all these things before you had to mine, and you still will have to mine them, because I imagine it'll be tricky for some people to get these mobs killed. They're going to be some pretty tricky mobs. But what it's going to allow is the means, if I can figure it out, or if somebody figures it out, to farm these mobs means I can have unlimited resources. So there's 3 new resources I can get more readily than what I can currently get them now. That's exciting. I'll have to come back and deal with that later. As you can see, I've been doing a little bit of work here in the Nether. This is my portal to the end, which is where I've been doing most of my work, and we'll go in there and take a look. Now, some of you might wonder why it takes so long for me to post a video, and as you know, that it requires resources to build stuff. It requires resources just to get to some places, like the end of the Nether require a certain amount of resources. So part of the task is actually, oh, that's not good, is actually getting the resources you need to do the build. Well, I'm not popular here right off the bat. I expected to have a mining cart in my possession. I don't. So I'm going to build one real fast here for the sake of wait, maybe there should be one coming down here. Probably should have been one coming down here, but I think I forgot to send it. Oh, there it is now. Yeah, it came while I wasn't watching. So it takes resources just to get to places like the end, and let alone build. What I've done here is, you might have remembered the Ender Dragon fight and how difficult it was to even just get to the mainland. What we've created here is a new mob farm, and this is our XP farm. And what we're farming, of course, is Enderman. I'm going to turn the sound off again. I always seem to forget to do that. So the beauty of farming in the end is that there's only one mob that farms, or that spawns, and they all spawn on that island that we came from way over there. The further away you go from places, from spawnable areas, the easier it is to farm mobs. So you might have seen my the balloon farm, the hot air balloon farm, where the mobs would come out of there fairly readily. Pixel Pete showed us his. The mobs were really slow to spawn in there. The trick with spawning mobs in most places, that there's apart from the end, is there's so many different places that those mobs can spawn, and unless you can eliminate those places, you can't create any kind of concentration of the mobs that you want to spawn. So that's a challenge I'm going to be facing in the Nether when I'm trying to figure out how to farm these new mobs that are coming. But in the end, it's really easy. I just have to go far enough away, about 128 blocks, and then I usually go about 150, creating non-spawnable areas all the way out there. So this area here is not spawnable because there's too much light on it. Endermen require light to darkness to spawn. They can't spawn in this area. The Endermen can spawn up in that farm up there, and we'll go up and take a look. If you've been following closely, you see that I posted a video on a solution for a problem that these types of mob farms have been having, but I haven't really shown you the farm. So I'm going to show you what I've done here and why I've done it, and we can go and take a look. When you're creating a project like this, first of all, you have to gather resources, and this took a lot of resources. It took me almost about a week to gather the resources for this. There's a lot of spider webs. There's a lot of it's redstone heavy, a lot of pistons and things like that. And I haven't shown you the methods that I used to gather them, because they're kind of boring, and they're kind of I'm not really proud of like, say for example, my string farm. I haven't made it look all pretty. You'll probably see that later. But so I spent about a week gathering resources, and then of course you do a certain amount of research to figure out how to do it. Now this mob farm, I probably first saw it in one of Doc M's worlds. It wasn't identical to this, of course, but that's where I saw the general idea. But I think this idea has been around for a long time. And basically what you do is you create a spawnable area, and then you use a piston to push the mobs off once the mobs spawn in that area. Endermen have some peculiarities that make them interesting for farming, and these Endermen, well, all Endermen, for example, cannot go in water. If they go into water, they take damage. Endermen have the ability to teleport, and they can teleport far enough away. I forget the blocks now, I've already forgotten, but I had to do the research to figure out how far away they can teleport. And they can teleport to this point right here. But since I've made no point in here that they can teleport to, they won't teleport out of that area. Endermen are 3 blocks high, which allow me 2.5 blocks in here is what I've got for clearance. They can't spawn into this area. They could teleport out to here if they could get far enough out, but this is a teleportable area, except there's no Enderman that can get close enough to it. As you go further away from mobs, like for those guys there, I'm 128 blocks away. Those mobs actually all despawn. So if I look at my F3, for example, you see the E, third line down, it says E1/8485. That one is me. That one entity is me, and that 88 mobs are the 88 entities are those Endermen behind me. Now, as I turn around and point at them, you see that count goes up because I'm actually pointing at these Endermen. So wherever I point my cursor at tells me how many entities are roughly in that direction. So all the mobs are now behind me. All the mobs that were on that island have disappeared. Okay. So we've created a spot for them, and I'll show you how the farm works. We've got Endermen drop Ender pearls, but even better than that, they drop experience. And what we've done is we set up a farm here where we can just one-shot kill these guys, and they normally have a lot of hit points. I think like 40 hearts or something like that. And so I've been able to make it so that I can just come along and beat them all with whatever I'm holding in my hand without wasting any resources. Like if you use a sword on them, like a diamond sword to kill them, you're actually using up that diamond sword. But if I use like an ender pearl or a pork chop or maybe Pixel Pete's watermelon of doom, nothing I'm doing is actually taking damage. Now you see these Endermen are falling down as fast as I'm killing them, and this can keep going on. So I'm level 30 now. Lots of experience still on the ground. I don't know how long that took, but it didn't take very long, probably less than a minute. And so I come down here, I get my level 30, and then I can come in here and I've got my enchanting room, and I can just set up, I just do my enchant, unbreaking efficiency, not bad. I like those particular picks for general mining. I don't have to worry that I'm ruining something else. And okay, so I end up with these ender pearls as well as the loot, and these ender pearls you can use them for teleporting. So if I right click in that direction, I'll teleport over there to where that ender pearl lands, and it works just fine. I take a bit of damage doing it, but it's not a big issue. So how does this work? Okay, I've explained the principle of how to get them to spawn, or how to get them to spawn in my area. Oh, part I didn't show you is I flip this switch here, and now I can just turn this into a pearl farm. So now as the Endermen drop, they're dropping far enough to kill them, where before they're just dropping far enough that they were almost dead. Now anything that drops will be all dead when it drops. And there's a big difference between all dead and almost dead. So anything that drops now is just going to be just dropping ender pearls. So I can just come along here and collect ender pearls. I don't use that many, but they're kind of fun to have. And there's some people I know that just use tons of them. So once we've cleared this out here, already level 17 again, 18, 19, 20, you'll see them falling, and they're just dying when they're falling. Okay? So that's the function of how it works. All this here is for my storage. Oops. Storing these pearls until I find a use for them. Who knows, maybe someday we'll get a even cooler use for them than what we currently have. Alright, so let's set that back to farming for XP. Now up here again, I had to cover everything with water so the Enderman wouldn't spawn on it. It's pretty standard for any kind of Enderman farm at all. And the Endermen are falling from up there. This area here is basically just to channel the Enderman into the area where I want to harvest them. And we'll climb up, go it up. Oh, we got some Endermen stuck up here. That's not supposed to happen unless I didn't set up my minecart. Oh, where's my minecart? It's not moving. We gotta get that sucker moving. There we go. I was doing a test earlier where I filled this whole area up to see what to see if I could actually stall the minecart, and the minecart wasn't stalling, but it wasn't pushing anything in. Alright, so what happens? It won't happen while I'm standing here because the mobs have to be more than 25-ish blocks away from me to spawn. But the mobs will spawn on any of these areas here where this red track is. Once they spawn in there, they'll hit a tripwire. I'm hitting a tripwire right now, and you'll see that piston up there. I'm going to go up where the minecart isn't because I think that's going to confuse matters. So we'll go up the next level up. Alright, so you can see that tripwire triggering. When that tripwire triggers, it fires a piston up top. That, because they're 3 high, that's enough to push the Enderman into the hole, and the Endermen fall. The Endermen fall and land on those vines. The vines slow their fall. They don't take any damage landing on the vines. But once they go through the vines, they're going to fall exactly enough to... oh, that's probably what happened. Interesting. That ender pearl was enough to stop the minecart. And some of these guys are taking damage when they enough to die. I don't know why they're hitting the edges. I think what they're actually doing is hitting the minecart as it comes by, because the minecart is just slightly wider than a block. So, but it seems to be a reasonably good solution for the problem with the guys getting stuck up top there. So that's essentially it. There's not much to it. It's a lot of resources. It's a lot of work. The build itself took about 3 days. Gathering the resources took about a week, so that's like, and then just getting here took a few days as well, so it's almost 2 weeks to get to this point. But I'm really happy that I'm now at a point where I can just farm all the experience I want, and all the ender pearls I want. The chicken there was part of my exploration. When I was trying to figure out how to solve the Enderman problem, I found that chickens would bump into them and knock them down as well, but chickens would also just jump off and wander away. So they weren't very useful to me there. Alright, so that's all I got to show you for today. We'll be back soon. Take care, and I hope you enjoy this.